So we've been talking about oneness all year long, and we're going to keep on talking about oneness. And our theme for the month is acceptance. And I have a few spiritual principles to get us anchored and to get us started. This was written by Ernest Holmes more than 100 years ago. He actually calls it What We Believe. We had a team who put this document together, and you can get a copy of it. It also comes with not just the spiritual principle in Ernest Holmes' words, but they've added some universal principles and laws, given another interpretation of it, and added some non-jargon as well. So this morning we're working with spiritual principle number 1. It says, we believe in God, the living spirit, almighty one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. We do believe this one manifests itself in and through all creation, yet it is not absorbed by its creation. Spiritual principle number 4, we believe that heaven is within us. We believe that heaven is an experience that we have right here, right now, on earth. Spiritual principle number 6, we believe in the unity of all life. We believe that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe that everything is connected. Spiritual principle 11, we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. For we understand that the life of all is God. We believe that everything is God. So, as we were talking about acceptance, and as I was thinking about acceptance, there's a lot to accept. You know what I mean? Reverend Rodney started us out at the beginning of the month, and he said that we have to accept the unacceptable and to follow our nose. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go back and look at it. But accept the unacceptable. He said we had to accept what we cannot change. We have to accept what is. We have to accept what did not happen. We have to accept what might not happen. We have to accept others. Acceptance is the opening of the heart when all it wants to do is close. Michael Singer said that in his book, The Untethered Soul. Any one of us who proclaim to be on a spiritual adventure, call ourselves metaphysicians, we know the importance of acceptance. There can be no real treatment without acceptance. Acceptance precedes prayer. There can be no real forgiveness without acceptance. It's necessary before calm and harmony and order is restored in us. And we must learn to accept our true selves, the greatest of them all. We must learn to accept our true selves. And how do we discover our true selves? It's through practice. It's through creating moments to be still, moments to be quiet. It's through meditation. It's through treatment and prayer. It's through our sacred time and contemplation and journaling. That's where we come to know our divine self. You got to practice. So some of y'all might know and some of y'all might not, but it's playoff times, basketball. Right? Of course, I've been watching the basketball games. Yeah, I've been watching them games. And so last night there was a game on. So in the playoffs, for some of y'all who don't know, you have to win 4 games in a series to move to the next level. So last night, 2 teams were playing. One team has won 3 games and one team has won 2 games. So it was a battle because the team that has only won 2 games, if they lost last night, that means it's over. So they were really, really battling last night. And there was a moment of time in the game where it was almost over. And the score was close. And so on one team, the team that was winning, the star player went down court and they had the ball. And they was trying to make a bucket, right? Get 2 points, right? And so they went down court. The other team was on defense. They got the star player the ball. He had it. His teammates was right there. They was kind of in his way, right? So he did this, you know, like, get out the way, right? I got this. So he shooed him out of the way. He did his thing, did his crossover, hit the 2 points, right? Now, some might call that cocky. I don't call it cocky. I call it confident. When you practice, it's not cocky that you pray. It's confident. When you practice, you're not cocky. You're confident. You know what I mean, buddy boy? Yes. So we practice so we can create space in our minds to get clear about what we used to think about, bumped up against what we now know. We used to think that our soul needed saving. We don't think that no more. In fact, Ernest Holmes says that salvation is not necessary, but self-discovery is essential. He said, we don't save that which was lost, we merely discover that which needs to be found. Our true selves. What is it that needs to be found? The divinity within. And when we find it, we must accept it. We must accept it. You are divine. You should tell your neighbor, you are divine. Tell another neighbor, you are divine. Yes. And now tell your own self, because you got to make it personal. I am divine. I'm divine. It's not cocky, it's confident. I am divine. Because it is through accepting our divinity then that we come to know that experiences change, but we don't change. The experiences change, but we don't change. I have a cousin who, when we were little, he used to dance all the time. And so his life was a little rough, though. He dropped out of high school. He didn't graduate. He took a turn. He got locked up. He was back out, got locked up again. This was going on for a while. And finally, he got out, and he's been out for a while. And I give thanks for that. But if you see him, guess what? He's still dancing. He's still dancing. Everybody be like, there you go. He's still dancing. He be dancing too. Experiences change, but we don't change. In 360 Science of Mind, this is a book written by Ernest Holmes. Did I drop my? I did. Thank you, Sandy. On page 372, and I apologize, my book is a little torn and tethered, but hey. Yeah, I use it a lot. In his book, 365 Science of Mind, on page 372, in a reading entitled, I Know That I Live in the Changeless Reality, Ernest Holmes says, as human beings, our nature is spiritual. The only thing about us that can change is that which ought not to be permanent. We are changeless beings living in a changing world. Thus, all of our experiences are bound together on a thread of continuity that James Russell Lowell called the thread of the all-sustaining beauty, which runs through all and doth all unite, end quote. It is wonderful to know that something permanent, substantial, and eternal stands in the midst of our being. And I believe, watches with joy, the eternal change taking place. To the spirit, these changes are merely variations of experience. The spirit is never caught, tied, or bound. Ugliness may seem to exist for a brief moment, but beauty, like truth, endures forever. All that is evil passes. As our hymn of faith says, it cannot exist even for a moment when faced by the divine reality. Everything that we now experience objectively will change, as it ought to. But that which is with God, which is of good, abides. He finally says, I know that I live in a changeless reality. I am not disturbed by the passage of time, the movement around me, nor the variations of experiences through which I go. Something within me remains immovable and says, be still and know that I am God. This I am, which is the God within me, is substantial. It's changeless, and it is perfect. The I am within me is changeless. Things change, I don't. When we can come to accept our own divinity, things change, I don't. People change, I don't. The job might change, I don't. The relationship might change, I don't. The money might change, I don't. The diagnosis might change, I don't. Others, their words, their actions might change, I don't. The praise might change. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It changes, I don't. People's opinion might change. It's okay, I don't. Things change, our experiences change, I don't. I am divine. That's confident, not cocky. That's confident, not cocky. But you gotta practice, right? I got this. Confident, not cocky. If we don't accept our divinity within, it'll be hard for us to accept their experiences without. Let me tell you again. If you don't accept your divinity within, if you're not in meditation, if you're not seeking to discover your true self, if you're not in prayer, if you're not in contemplation, if you don't create moments of quiet and stillness, you'll never be able to accept the experiences outside of you because you haven't accepted divinity within you. We're not doing this so that we can be cocky in the world, but so that we can be confident in the world. I am divine. In his book, The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer, on page 152, he says this. He says, we must be willing to examine the process of resistance. In order to resist, you first must decide that something is not the way you like it. Plenty of events make it right through you. Why did you decide to resist this one? Something inside of you must have a basis for deciding when to simply let things pass through and when to assert willpower to either push them away or cling to them. There are a billion things that don't bother you at all. If you want to understand stress, begin to realize that you carry around with you your own set of preconceived notions of how things should be. It is based upon these notions that you assert your will to resist what has already happened. He says, these personal events that take place in our lives leave impressions on our minds and our hearts. Those impressions become the basis for asserting your will to either resist or to cling. It's no deeper than that. The events may have happened in your childhood or at various points throughout your life. Regardless of when they happened, they left impressions inside of you. Now, based on these past impressions, you are either resisting the current events that are taking place. This creates inner tension, turmoil, struggle, and suffering. Instead of seeing this and refusing to allow these past events to run your life, you buy into them. Believing they have real meaning, you put all your heart and soul into either resisting or clinging. But in truth, the entire process has no real meaning. It just destroys your life. To avoid this, begin dealing with each situation with acceptance. Events are not problems, they're just events. Your resistance to them is what causes the problem. It is our resistance and not acceptance to the experiences that we are having that causes our problems. So, many of us, we have situations from the past that we have not dealt with. And so, when something similar happens to us in the present moment, suddenly our past becomes present. And we don't want to deal with it. And I said before that acceptance is not waving of the white flag, but in that moment, acceptance is waving in the white flag. I don't want to deal with it. So, how then do we know that we are waving the white flag, which is not what we want to do? We don't want to just wave the white flag. We don't want to accept in a way that we're just giving up. No, we know that we're being called to act, to move into action. So how do we know when we are waved in the white flag? Well, we become less disciplined in our practice. Well, we become a little cocky. Let me go on and give it to you. Not confident at all. Right? Less discipline in our practice. And I'm not talking about time when I talk about to be engaged in our practice. I'm talking about the quantity. I'm talking about the time that you spend where there is, in fact and indeed, revelation and insight and new ideas and holy ideas and God ideas springing forth through you that become your own ideas that move you into action. If you're not doing that, you waved the white flag. So, let me see if I can give it to you a little bit different. Yeah, if you're still praying for the same things that you was praying for 10 years ago, you waving the white flag. You still ain't got the man, you waving the white flag. You know what I mean? Money still ain't coming to you, you don't wave the white flag. The moment that something happens, love goes out the door. The moment that something happens, peace goes out the door. The moment that something happens, we just lose it. Cocky, not confident at all. That's how we know. Not only is there no prayer in the times where there should be prayer, there's no practice. We're not moving into action. One who is practiced knows when to pray and knows when to act. Have you been practicing? You know when to call your teammates forward and you know when to tell them, get out the way. Confident, not cocky. So, Joe Goldsmith says that if we have done our part, if we have made time, if we've gone within and made ourselves receptive and available to the truth, we can be assured that something is going to happen. If you practice, you can be assured something is going to happen. If you practice, you can wave off the fear, wave out the doubt, quiet the noise inside in your head, only if you've practiced. I am divine. That's not cocky, that's confidence. This right here, you want to know what this is? This is high-level spirituality. It's not some big, grand and grandiose idea. Listen, you want to call yourself spiritual? If you're still praying, that's good. That's high level spirituality. You know what I mean? You still meditating? That's good. You know what I mean? When people's opinion change, guess what? I'm going to still be praying. 10 years from now, guess what? I'm going to still be praying. Guess what? When the situation changes and the relationship changes, guess what? I'm going to still be praying. I'm going to still be meditating. I'm going to still be contemplating. I'm going to still be declaring, I am divine. Confident, not cocky. Confident, not cocky. You know, if you're still meditating, that's good. You're on the right track. Don't look for some grandiose sign. Just pray some more, meditate some more, find the time, make the time, be willing to be open and available. As Joel Goldsmith said, you can rest assured something is happening on the inside. Something is happening in the invisible. Rest assured in it. You still about your mother, father business? Good. You still severing ties with what you used to believe? Good. Keep on practicing. Keep on practicing. That's what we should be telling each other. Keep on practicing. You still praying? Keep on practicing. You still meditating? Keep on practicing. You still contemplating? Keep on practicing. And then declare, I am divine. I'm not cocky, I'm confident. Let us accept the divinity within ourselves. I am divine, I'm confident. I am divine, I'm confident, not cocky. Practitioners, join me. That's all I got. Let us come together in this moment, in all of our divinity, made up in our spiritual magnificence, on sight for the world to see, fully robed up in love and joy and peace and possibility, declaring our oneness with all of life and its goodness. Let us affirm and know that we are ever one with God by whatever name you choose to call it. We are ever one with love. We are ever one with the infinite possibilities. We are ever one with the great creator that is within us. We are ever one with our divinity and our magnificence, never to be separate and apart from it. It is the only thing that we are. So, let us affirm together and know then that this divinity within us, that it is more than enough. It is the command that meets every demand. It is in the center of every experience that each of us are having. And as we know this to be true, we just affirm and know that the experiences change, but I don't change. My divinity remains the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I am divine. Let us all be so bold today as we come face to face with the experiences in our lives without a desire to call them good or bad, but a desire to call them what they are, good and goodness, divine and righteous, there for me to become more and more of who I am. And nevertheless, I declare for you as I declare for myself that experiences change, but I don't change. The people may change, but I don't change. The money may change, but I don't change. The diagnosis may change, but I don't change. My situation might change, but I don't change. They may not talk good about me, but I'm not going to change. Let us declare and decree from deep within ourselves that I'm divine, and the words that flow through me are high, and the holy ideas, they are divine. It's the thing that I'm putting in, and it's the thing that I must get back as I sow, as I call in love, as I call forth love. It's the only thing that can spring forth from me. As I call in peace, as I live in peace, it's the only thing that can spring forth from me. As we sow, so shall we reap. It comes from our divinity and our magnificence. Let us give thanks and rejoice that we can say that we are divine, not from a place of cockiness, but from a place of confidence. I declare for you as I declare from myself, I'm getting everything out of the way. There will be more meditation in my life. There's going to be more prayer in my life. There's going to be more contemplation in my life. I'm going to make time for the divine. I'm going to make time to discover my true self. I'm going to make time so that I can declare and decree in the face of every experience, I'm divine. Get out the way. Move. I got this. The divine in me. The high and holy in me. What's righteous and good about me. My integrity is on display. I got this. Get out the way. I am divine. Let us rejoice and give thanks for this truth. As each of us come to take it in and make it our own truth in our own way, in our own words, in our own song, it don't matter. Just take it in. Let it become yours. Let us give thanks then for this moment of pause and clarity, insight and revelation. As we do, we just come together then collectively, gathering the words that have been spoken, the song that has been sang. We gather it all in, the love that has been expressed, the joy that is here now, the essence of possibility that is in this place. Let us take it all in. As we do, we just simply release it into the law that is within ourselves. Claiming it to be so for our own very lives and knowing it about somebody else. We just let our words go. We let them be. And together we come together in agreement by saying, and so it is. And so as we journey on throughout our week, put your hands up like this. Wave them away, wave them away, wave them away. Join me in stating, I am divine, confident, not cocky. And so it is.